we could help just to start Global Entrepreneurship Week from small. Maybe in several years they will also grow. So that's basically the overview of stance.
Thank you very much. People told us that about Venezuela. They said, oh no, the government is not really interested in advancing entrepreneurship. And then we discovered that Angelo existed. And Angelo's probably not in the room right now, so but I'm going to give him the credit for this. He figured out how to seed an entrepreneurial communities in a nation that had a reputation from outside the nation of not being very entrepreneurial. So I hope one of the things that we were talking about is, we have not limited ourselves in the common, in taking a kind of generic global view as to the politics and the climate in the country as being a barrier. Shall I say, we've certainly concluded that's not a reason why we shouldn't try. So does anybody have a knowledge, I'm just going to throw out a couple of questions here. Does anybody have knowledge of a country that's not involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week that you think that you might be able to help with? Yes, so we have Rob from New Zealand in the back here.
Yes, we've been working with islands in the Pacific on a couple of other small events to do with entrepreneurship, but I'm pleased to say that Niue, which is, you've probably never heard of Niue, but it has been a protectorate of New Zealand. It's quite a long trip to get there, but they've committed themselves to join GEW next year, so that's pretty exciting. And there's also energy being put into Fiji, which is, I don't know who's heard of Fiji, but it's a bit of a resort off the coast of New Zealand. And they're also considering joining next year as well. So that's exciting for us. More players in our region. Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about the ability to reach out and get other nations involved who aren't currently part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. Yes.
Yes, good morning. We in Central Africa, Cameroon is based in Central Africa, and in Central Africa, I believe it's only Cameroon who is on board. We have Chad, we have Gabon, we have Equatorial Guinea, we have the two Congos who are not yet involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week. Particularly, we have started discussion with someone in Gabon, and actually the head of state in Gabon is completely focused on youth, on entrepreneurship, and so on, and we believe there's a chance that we can bring Gabon on stage. Also with Chad. The Czech Republic is also really focused on business plan competition and so on. And I want to raise the possibility to pass through the network of Junior Chamber International. I think I can send an email to Areo Benson and copy Brendan so they can contact him, because they are based in St. Louis in Missouri, and they have a wonderful network of 1 year to lead organizations based in all around the world in about 120 countries. So I think these are two possibilities that we can raise and work on. Thank you.
By the way, before I forget, as we have a much more deliberative discussion, if you want to speak, if you could stand up, they'll be able to bring the microphone to you faster. And you can also, if you so just to let you know, so we've got somebody else over here, is that right? Okay, great.
Good morning. Good morning. Sanjay from Empretech Mauritius. First, I'm quite intrigued by Brandon's socks. I was just wondering whether it's part of the GEW giveaways. So, I mean, it matches the compass quite well. Coming to Empretech Mauritius, basically, we have quite a regional focus. And through our project, we are also trying to involve a neighboring island like Comoros, Seychelles, and even Madagascar. So obviously our activities, and we are very much in contact with, for example, the host organization in Madagascar as well. Thank you.
Good. If you want to stand, is anybody else? Okay, so over here, we'll go with you first. If you could stand up, and then that's great. They'll bring the mic. Yep.
Hi, Sarah Macmillan from Youth Business International. We have a couple of members in South Asia, 2 Himalayan nations, Bhutan, the very small Himalayan nation, and also Nepal. I'm not sure if Nepal is already a member.
Yes.
Don't see any representation here, but quite a lot of contacts in Nepal, but also Bhutan, which is, we have a very active YBI member there called the Loden Entrepreneurship Program, who are doing great stuff in Bhutan, so we can certainly pass that on to them.
Super, thanks. We're going to come over here and then to Victor.
Marian Zajkos, Slovak University of Technology. We've been with the GEW for 4 years, and I keep somehow wondering why our neighbors in Czech Republic haven't been interested in Global Entrepreneurship Week. So I somehow gave them a chance to wake up, but once we are talking about it so specifically, I can promise to address some of my contacts and awaken their interest in it. I think it might be good contribution.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Victor.
I do not see Cyprus here, so if you
Tunisia.
are interested that Cyprus, the Greek side, joins, we can help with that because, you know, Cyprus is the largest investor in Russia. It means that there are tons of Russian capital sitting there, and basically I'm raising capital for my operations in Russia on Cyprus, so I'm sure there are people who can launch it there. And we had a discussion already with my neighbors in Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. I invited them to visit us in Moscow. We'll be glad to share our knowledge how to run this week and other types of activities that we do. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Victor. Appreciate it. Yes, from Tunisia.
Yes. I am Maji from Tunisia. We think this year to involve Libya with us. They are new business communities who emerge in Libya now after the revolutions, and we are close to them, and we have contact with them, and we think to involve them in the next weeks.
Yeah, I know. We were in Algiers together at a meeting, and I was so impressed to see that despite all of the troubles happening in Libya at the time, there were still young entrepreneurs from Libya who came, and they're like, yeah, we're still there building our future despite the fact that there's a lot of, so this is wonderful. Thank you. Who's next? Yeah, over here, and then if we could come to Jad here. Thanks. Yep.
So I'm coming from Rwanda. One of our neighbors who's not represented here, Tanzania. Our organization is actually in the process of expanding into Tanzania. I head there tomorrow, actually. So I think that's something they'd be especially interested in. There's a lot of competition amongst the East African countries. So the fact that Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda are all participating, I think Tanzania is going to be quite interested as well.
Wonderful. I really hope that you guys would embrace the idea of being part of welcoming new members of our family. So this is very exciting. I'm pleased to hear this. So please, if Jad from the UAE.
Again, I cannot stress the importance of working with entrepreneurs at a young age to get them to understand the value of entrepreneurship. So what we've done as an academic institution, as a university, is reach out to other universities in the region through their accreditation boards and push towards the implementation of entrepreneurship courses into the curriculum. So by the time the students graduate, they do have a grasp and an understanding of entrepreneurship and its value in the ecosystem. And something else that we've done that's been very effective is reach out to international business plan competitions like the MIT Enterprise Forum. And I'm very glad to announce that next week we have 50 international participants coming from the region to participate in a business plan competition through MIT. So I think if we can possibly work with international networks through business plan competitions and get them to participate, it becomes a place where they can get to know other entrepreneurs in the regions, and we can also get to know key players in the region.
Great. Yeah, and then you come over here.
Okay, Ludovic from Cape Verde.
If you stand up.
I think I've been trying to get other countries involved, but sometimes they have to move it because I really don't know them. I know them from a mission or some congress. I think they have a good personality, but then I just send them the message with the information and pass it to Brandon. We have already bring on Benin. We are in conversations with Tanzania. I try to bring on also Guinea, Equatorial. I think as a Portuguese countries, we have the obligation of bringing Timor-Leste, Saint Tomé, the other ones that are not involved yet. And so we can grab the best ones to be host. It should be important to involve the embassies because they know who is active in the countries. They know who is going to be a good host. So if you contact the embassies, if you use the network of the embassies, of the United States embassies, you will find good hosts.
Okay, let's challenge that for 1 second. You know, a lot of the time, I think it's important to go to the embassies, but I think whether it's the embassies or the universities or any other entities, one of the things that I know that I'll get into trouble with Brendan if I haven't said is that while we want to go with the glow, a term invented by Enterprise UK, for welcoming people to the beginning of the conversation, in terms of actually selecting the right person to sort of lead those people that you bring to the table, sometimes we'll be quite disciplined about making sure it's the right person. So I think one of the things we're trying to do is give more specifics on the kind of people that I think, or organizations that would make it work. And above all other qualifications is we think the ability to be able to work well with others, to not feel like it's, you know, to sort of hog and own it and not play the politics of inclusion. So I did want to bring that up, but I think that's excellent. And maybe you should have one of the lunches. We have 3 unscheduled lunches today, by the way, and one of them could be with the Portuguese-speaking nations to discuss what you just proposed in terms of how to reach out to the others. So just a suggestion. Yes, over here. And then who's next? Stand up if you could.
Hello, I'm Steve from Thailand. I think, first of all, I would like to acknowledge that Dash, because before Dash came in with a mutual friend to Thailand to visit for a holiday, I've never heard of global entrepreneurship in Thailand. Okay? And he came on the holiday, we had a talk, and then he recommended me as for the host of Thailand because of the work that I'm doing in Thailand with the ASEAN region. But what's interesting is that when, for example, in Thailand, in 2008, later I found out that one of the universities that was linked to the Caroline University actually did a launch of global entrepreneurship in 2008. And after that, there has been no news. But then again, at the same time, in 2006 onwards, Thailand has been having political uncertainties. Because of the work that we do with the ASEAN economic community that's coming up in ASEAN now, I noticed, for example, Myanmar, Hillary Clinton had the first visit to Myanmar after all these years. So Myanmar is an upcoming country. I lived there for 2 years before, so I believe that that should be one place where we can engage, especially with the strength, with the, you know, the support of the State Department. The other small country that's not in it, it's the Indochina country, is in Laos, which is